Revenge films.
At the time, my husband was a salaryman, and I was working as a nurse. And the two of us were both very busy, but dating happily together. We had been engaged for a while then, and fully prepared for a wedding that was just around the corner. I was planning on becoming a full-time housewife after we got married. So while I was still working, I was trying to get as many hours in as possible. And I wasn't able to spend as much time with my husband. In the midst of those busy days, we finally had a day off together, so we made plans to go on a date together. We were going to go for a drive, but unfortunately, the day before our date, the car broke down, and the temporary replacement we got wasn't ideal, so we decided to change our plans. It was spring at the time, and the cherry blossoms had just gone into full bloom. So, the two of us went for a walk to the nearby park. That was when we came across what looked like a car accident in the middle of the intersection, and there was a large crowd of people gathered. Hey, we should go over there.
Yeah.
As we got closer to the scene of the crash, there was a huge commotion, and we heard a small voice.
Help! There's a child inside of the car! Somebody, please help!
I'm a nurse!
That's amazing! But we have to do something about this situation first!
I ran over to the accident with her, and when we looked inside the car, the mother who was behind the wheel was injured beyond saving. However, we could see that the child was still breathing.
Please, somebody help me get this child out!
I yelled into the crowd, and with the help of my husband and some others, we were able to get the mother and the child out of the car. At that point, somebody had already called the ambulance, so I did whatever I could to help the child while we waited for the ambulance to arrive. Then the little girl started crying.
Mommy! It hurts!
So I hugged her tiny, battered body as close as I could. Everything is going to be okay. The ambulance is almost here, and you're going to make all the pain go away. You can do this! I kept repeating this to her as I held her in my arms. Ambulance finally arrived, and we sent the little girl and her barely breathing mother off to the hospital. We later found out that the child was saved, but unfortunately, the mother's injuries were indeed too severe, and she passed away at the hospital. We were just passerbys in the situation though, so there is nothing more that we could do in that situation. A year passed by, and my husband and I were happily married. However, 1 year into our marriage, we came to find that we were having difficulty getting pregnant. In the beginning, we thought our timing was off, or that we were just unlucky. The next month, and the next month, we were unsuccessful. So we decided to go to the fertility clinic to run some tests. That was when we found out that I was, in fact, infertile, and it would be very unlikely for me to be able to bear a child. I was shocked and devastated. I can't give you a family, so let's get a divorce, I said to my husband, to which he replied,
What on earth are you saying? There's no way that I would divorce you just because of that. I love you for you. I didn't get married to you just to have a child.
John, I was really happy to hear my husband say that, but it didn't change the fact that it was near impossible for me to get pregnant. That's why I couldn't help but feel so lost, to wonder if this was really okay. My husband saw how upset he was, and he suggested,
Should we try some infertility treatments? There are a lot of methods nowadays.
What? But are you sure? I've heard that infertility treatments can get really expensive.
Yeah, we're in this together.
With my husband's encouragement, we decided to go back to the doctor and start treatments. However, the results were failure after failure. So my husband, I tried to stay positive. I'm sure the next one will work. Let's keep trying. But as soon as I was alone, I was broken, and I was always crying. Why can't I have a baby? When we were still dating, we weren't married yet, so we were avoiding any chances of getting pregnant. And I was on birth control. But that's why I thought that as soon as we got married and tried to have a baby, that I would be able to get pregnant quickly. Of course, I had heard multiple stories about women being infertile, but I never imagined that I would be one of those women. I know that John really wanted a child too, but he's too nice. One day, my mom found out that I was depressed because of my infertility, and she gave me a call. How are you, sweetie? As soon as I heard my mother's voice, my eyes welled up with tears, and I told her everything about how I was feeling. You have to stop blaming yourself. Even John is saying that he's happy as long as he has you, right? Yes, but that's what makes it even harder. I wanted to give him a family that we both dreamed of. Being a family isn't all about being related by blood. What Do you remember my friend, Mrs. Misa? Yes, but what does that have to do with anything? You know Mrs. Misa had a reproductive disease, and she wasn't able to have children either. But she had 3 kids, didn't she? They were all orphans, and she adopted them, but she raised them as if they were her own. And they are a happy family, aren't they? All I'm trying to say is that if you really wanted to have a family, then there are other ways that you and John can have kids. Just remember, happiness comes in many shapes and sizes. My mom's words sank deep into my heart, and that night I discussed it with my husband. My husband responded,
Happiness comes in many shapes and sizes, huh? I think she's right, and I'm open to it.
He was supportive of the idea, and in order to find out more about the adoption process, we went to a certain center in our town. The head of the organization was an incredibly kind and warm lady who gave us a short introduction before showing us around the orphanage. When we went to visit the classroom, suddenly a little girl came walking right up to me.
I know that necklace.
What?
I know you too, because the necklace was really shiny that day.
I didn't know what the little girl was trying to say, so I tried to ask her what she meant. But right then, everyone, it's time for lunch. Clean up and gather around. So the little girl just said to me,
Bye-bye, Mitch. See you soon. Thank you.
and ran off with the other children. I was left standing there with my husband, and I couldn't help but wonder what on earth the little girl was talking about, and why she pointed out my necklace, or why she said she knew me. It was especially strange because I had never received this particular necklace from my grandmother, and I knew that there was only one in the entire world. How could she say she knew it? I wonder why the little girl said she's seen this necklace before.
She even said that it was shiny.
The head of the orphanage came back towards us. Are there any children you might be interested in? Not exactly, but there was one little girl who said she had seen this necklace before, but it's a family heirloom. Are you talking about little Ashley? The one with the scars on her arms and legs? Yes, that's true. She did have some scars. That was when the head of the orphanage showed us something. This is one of Ashley's drawings, but this is always what she's painting during art time. That's my necklace! Is that so? Then that means you... Wow, fate truly is real, isn't it? I was still extremely confused, but then she explained the story, and it shocked my husband and I. Much to our disbelief, the little girl that we just met a few moments ago, Ashley, was actually the little girl from the car accident 2 years ago. After losing her mother in the accident, Ashley was sent to the orphanage, and there she was always drawing my grandmother's heirloom that was sitting on my chest.
The lady told me everything was gonna be okay, and she squeezed me and made all the pain disappear.
It's what Ashley had been saying. My husband and I both recalled the day of the accident and looked at each other at the same time. That was when I knew that we were both thinking the same thing. I think we've made a decision.
Yes, we would like to adopt Ashley into our family.
The head of the orphanage smiled and agreed. A few days later, the two of us went back to see Ashley once again.
Oh, hi, Miss. What are you doing here?
Today, we're here because there's something we wanted to ask you, Ashley.
What is it? You can ask me anything.
You see, Ashley, we came here to ask you if you wanted to become a real family with us. So would it be okay with you if we became your mom and dad?
Does that mean you're going to become my mommy, Miss?
Yes, that's right. Would that be okay with you?
Yes, of course. That makes me so happy. I want you to be my mommy, Miss.
And just like that, my husband and I moved forward to officially adopt Ashley. The head of the orphanage told us, when we first welcomed Ashley into the orphanage, she was really depressed after losing her mother by the accident. But any time that she would talk about you was the only time you would see her smile. Is that so? I had no idea I was able to help Ashley like that back then. It gives me a strange feeling. It felt like fate just to be able to see the little girl again that we helped upon 2 years ago. But to be able to welcome her into our family as her mom and dad felt even more like it was meant to be. That's why I've decided I'm going to love and care for Ashley, so much so that her mother can be proud while watching over her, and us. I can't wait for our lives ahead as a family of 3.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.